What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. Jumping into this episode of GH. Listen, Judge Walters, whatever his name is, look, that judge needs to be removed from the bench effective immediately. Like, I'm just saying, everything about this episode, everything about that court hearing was a violation of the law. Everything about it. Like, here you have a judge who swore to uphold the law is breaking the laws that he said that he would uphold when he took the bench. He broke every single law. This fool found in favor of the plaintiff, Shiloh. I'm like, what? First of all, Diane kept bringing up the fact that Shiloh acquired the information illegally. He went to that hospital that Willow gave birth in, smoothed and charmed that nurse or that records lady into telling him Willow gave birth and she was admitted to the hospital July of last year and gave birth to a healthy baby. She broke every single HIPAA law when she did that. And he illegally obtained that information. That's like if I were to go into a hospital right now. I don't care if it's my mother. I can go into a hospital right now and ask a doctor or a nurse the diagnosis of if something were wrong with my mother. They could not tell me that. Only she could tell me that. The only way they would be able to tell me is if she gave them consent to tell me. That's the only way they would be able to tell me. You know what I'm saying? And that's my mother. You know what I mean? Like, he's of no relation to Willow. Even if he were, you cannot disclose information about a patient. You cannot do that. He illegally obtained that information. And the judge did not ask any questions about it. He did not ask Shiloh how he got that information that she gave birth. Not once did he ask that question. He didn't care. Then, when Willow refused to, Diane refused basically, at first Diane refused to give up any information about the whereabouts of the child in the adoption situation. So the judge wanted to hold Diane in contempt. So then he was like, well, since your client can't answer any questions or won't answer any questions, I'm going to ask you the questions. You can't ask Diane any questions about her client. That's attorney-client privilege. He still commenced to ask Diane questions about her client. And Diane told him, I can't answer those questions about my client. It's attorney-client privilege. He did not care. He still kept asking the questions. This judge broke every law in just this one scene today. He needs to be removed. Like, that was so funny. That whole court scene was a joke to me. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I understand. Let me tell you something. I say this all the time. When you watch these shows, you have to suspend disbelief. But damn, GH be pushing it. Like, they be pushing it. I'm sorry, but that court scene was dreadful. I said, what type of lawyer do y'all have on set that's telling y'all about these court scenes? Y'all need to get a real lawyer on set to tell y'all the law, like about what goes on in a courtroom, because this is not it. I'm like, he can't ask all these questions, and he damn sure, Diane had a point. Soon as you find out that he obtained information illegally, that invalidates the court proceedings right there. He loses automatically. That judge did not give a damn. He just kept going and going and going. I'm like, he must be a DOD disciple. He got to be. Or smoking some good Snoop Dogg weed. I'm like, how the hell? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. A judge is agreeing with Shiloh. No. There's absolutely no way. And then he was talking about putting Diane in jail for contempt of court. Because she wouldn't answer questions legally. She's not allowed to answer. It's like the legal rule book was thrown out in this court scene. They just did not care about law or facts. I'm like, what kind of shit? I just had to laugh throughout that whole scene. I said, are you serious? That judge is on some good marijuana. Like, he must be smoking that good Mary Jane. I said, because there ain't no way. And Shiloh's still sitting there smug. And I was happy as hell when Willow went off. Listen, when Willow went off, I felt every emotion from that actress when she went off. Every emotion. She blew the hell up at Shiloh. She was like, you are not getting my child. I will never tell you where my child is. You are sick. All of that. She went off. And I loved it. She went off. And he's still sitting there with that smug look on his face. But she went off, and I loved it. Because you want to know what? I think today, when she lost this case and she saw how crazy that judge was acting, I think she hit her breaking point today. Because I've said this before. When you push somebody too far, they're going to push back. They're going to push back, and you're not going to like when they push back. And I think he pushed her too far. Shiloh, the judge, she just was at her breaking point. She was through. She was done. She was done. She could not take it no more. And you could see it. You could hear it in her voice like she was through. And I don't blame her. And it's crazy how the judge, like, sitting there basically trying to say, oh, that child could be in danger. That, oh, if the child is in imminent danger. That child is in no imminent danger. If the child was in danger, don't you think Diane would have reported that to the courts? She's a officer of the court. She's duty bound. She would have reported such things. She knows where that child is, and she know that child ain't in no danger. That child is in no danger at all. Maybe from Brad, but other than that, that child ain't in no danger. But that judge was so ridiculous. And now he gonna place Willow under arrest for contempt of court. Because she don't want to answer none of his questions, and she refuses to talk about the adoption. So rather than the bailiff arresting her, Chase elected to do it himself. And of course, Shiloh objected to that too, jumping out of his seat. Oh, he can't arrest her because that's her boyfriend. Shiloh, shut up and sit down. The judge only did one decent thing, and he allowed Chase to be the one to arrest her. That's the only decent thing that judge did, and even that wasn't decent because she shouldn't have been placed under arrest in the first place. This whole damn trial, this whole court case was a joke. From beginning to end. And that little stinking lawyer that Shiloh got, she's sitting up here talking about, oh, well, in this case, all them cases that she brought up ain't got nothing to do with custody. Ain't got nothing to do with family court. She brought up a real estate case. What does a real estate case got to do with a damn family court case? Two different areas. Two different. Even Diane said it. She said, what does that have to do with this? That was a real estate case. That ain't got nothing to do with this. Where the hell? This whole case was a joke. This whole court scene was just funny. I'm like, it's laughable. I said, are you serious? You're bringing up a real estate case and a child family court case? You got to be kidding me. Where the hell y'all get y'all law degrees from? Back of a milk carton? Well, let me go downstairs in my kitchen and see if I can find a nice little law degree in the back of my milk carton. Maybe I too can become a lawyer. I'm pretty sure I could have a better job than that. I said, are y'all serious? I said, the nerve of this judge. I said, what the hell? Like, this man is out of his mind. Like, he's out of his mind. Like, let me tell you something. When he was the judge in Maxie's case, he was harsh with Maxie, but I understood where he was coming from. In that case, I got it. You know, because Maxie was real irresponsible in that case. So I got where he coming from. But in this case, he just being downright ridiculous. I was like, yeah, you drinking that good Kool-Aid right there. That don't make no sense. It really did. So anyway, moving on from that. So speaking about one ridiculous situation, on to another ridiculous situation. Bobbie. Bobbie. Let me tell you something. This is why I say that they're hypocrites. Because Julian didn't do nothing that she hasn't done before or nothing that she wouldn't do. So her coming in there smacking him, getting mad about him being involved is totally out of line. It was ridiculous and it was out of pocket. I saw some people in the comments about Julian deserved that. He deserved that for trying to help his son. Now, I'm not a fan of him helping Brad in no way. You know, because I do agree he should have told Lucas about the dead baby. But I think in his mind, he figured that he was trying to protect Lucas. Even though it was stupid, but he was trying to protect him. But it's still no excuse. But I feel like she was out of line for smacking him, because if you're going to smack him, she should have smacked the hell out of Sam too, because Sam was right there with him, helping him with this plan. Sam saw no problem with the plan. But of course, Lucas didn't tell Bobbie about that, though. He only mentioned Julian. How are you going to go to somebody for help, knowing that they're more than likely, 9 times out of 10, you know that they're going to do something illegal to help you. And when push comes to shove, you're going to throw that person under the bus and all they were trying to do was help you? That pissed me off. That made me mad. Because I'm like, you don't go to somebody and ask them for help and then try to sit there and throw them under the bus when they give you the help that you desperately wanted. And it was so funny how Bobbie and Carly and everybody keep saying, oh, Lucas should have came to them for help. What would have y'all done? What would you have done that Julian didn't do? What would you have done? All they would have done was either A, sit there and comfort and coddle them like, oh, everything's going to be okay. Diane got this. Willow got this. Everything going to be fine. Let the law handle it. That's all they would have done. Or B, they would have took matters into their own hands like Julian did and did something illegal. Because it's not like they're above that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not above doing anything illegal. We've seen them do it over the years to protect their family. They've done things illegal. Like, come on now. Even Carly said, oh, you should have came to me and Sonny. What the hell do you think Sonny would have done? It wouldn't have been legal, whatever he would have done. I can assure you that. But they're just mad because Julian stepped in. First of all, what Bobbie needs to understand and what Julian need to understand is Bobbie is that boy's mother and Julian is that boy's father. They need to get over it. Because what I noticed in this scene was how Julian talking about, oh, Lucas is my son, Wiley is my grandson, and Bobbie talking about, oh, Lucas is my son. And I'm tired of hearing that my son, my son, my son, my son, my grandson. At the end of the day, y'all share the child. At the end of the day. Yes, Bobbie is not biologically his mother, but blood don't make you family. At the end of the day, she raised Lucas. You know? And Julian, whether Bobbie likes it or not, is his father. So they need to learn how to coexist. And what's crazy to me is they're all on the same side. Y'all all want the same thing. So instead of sniping at each other, smacking each other and threatening each other and going up against each other, why not work together so that way, because y'all all trying to get the same result. So if y'all work together, y'all can achieve that goal. Y'all all have the same interests here. It's not like y'all playing on different teams. Y'all choosing to play on different teams, but y'all all want the same championship. But in this case, there's no difference. There's no need for y'all to go up against each other when y'all can actually work together and somehow. They're just choosing not to because they don't like each other. Julian actually wanted to work with Sonny on this. But of course, Sonny with his ego, oh, I'll handle it myself. Oh, I'm not playing in nothing. It was ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Ridiculous. Scott was funny as hell coming up in the pub with that damn scooter. I guess Ken Shriner must have hurt his leg or his ankle or whatever. So he came up in there riding that little scooter. Ken is my dog, yeah, I swear. Ken Shriner, that's my dog. He's a whole mood, like, seriously. He came up in there with his little scooter on. Of course, Bobbie started to faint, so they had to take her to the hospital. So she might have diabetes or whatever because she got blurred vision and she suffered from these headaches and stuff. Bobbie, being the older person that she is, she don't think nothing wrong with her. She don't think it's serious. She think that she just skipped out on breakfast and need to eat. And Lucas is just over exaggerating or whatever. I'm like, what Bobbie needs to understand is you're not a spring chicken no more. You're not as young as you once were. You're getting older. And when you get older, your health slowly but surely starts to decline. The older that you get. You know, your body is not what it used to be 30 years ago. So, and she's not retired. She's still working, dealing with patients, working at the hospital still. So it's like you have to slow your roll. You know, and now you might have diabetes, so they got to run the test. So Lucas had to run the test and stuff. I hope she's good, but I have a feeling that it is a medical issue. Maybe it is diabetes or whatever. But she do need to start eating better. She need to start, you know, relaxing and start living for her and taking care of herself because self-care is very important. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you ain't going to be no good for nobody else. Like, you just got to, you know, you need you more than anybody needs you. You know what I'm saying? You need yourself first. So, you know, you got to take care of your own self. Like, she need to, you know, do that instead of being so hard-headed. Oh, I don't need to rest. I don't need to go home. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You need to sit down. Chillax. I thought it was nice of Cameron to bring those flowers over to Kim from Oscar's Meadow. Those were some nice flowers. It was nice of him to bring them. But Kim need to slow her roll. She got wine. She got music. She got dinner. Basically, she was trying to seduce Drew. You can't tell me that wasn't a seduce. She was trying to seduce him. The good wine, the dinner, the music, the mood music. She was trying to seduce him. Kim need to go sit down somewhere. Like, she is hell-bent on having this child. Like, she started kissing on Drew and stuff like that. I'm like, wow. I wonder what Julian's going to think when he finds this out, because you know it's bound to happen. I said, she really needs psychiatric help. I feel bad for the lady because she ain't doing nothing but crying out for help. That's all this is. It's that grief. She's not, instead of dealing with the grief and breaking down and just, trying to move on with her life, she's trying to recreate Oscar. And it's sad, because it does happen in real life with parents who lose a child. They just have a break from reality for a while and just think, they walk around with these smiles on their face, trying to act like they're picking up the pieces. When in reality, they're a sandwich short of a picnic now because, they had a break from reality, And that's why I think, a session with Dr. Collins would do her some wonders, or maybe even a session with Neil. Lord knows, never mind. She need to stay away from any men. She need a female therapist. Because you can see she acting like a little chick in heat right about now. So she need to go sit down. I'm just saying, she just need a break. Like, seriously. A good therapist. Hopefully, Drew does not entertain these shenanigans from her. But anyway, moving on from that. Have I mentioned how much I'm loving Dev and Jocelyn right now? I am. I like the little chemistry that they got. It was so funny how, how people do on these shows when dealing with somebody from the other side of the tracks and they're around somebody who grew up in a privileged lifestyle. Because it was kind of funny how Jocelyn was like, oh, I've been to Turkey before. I know where you're from. Dev was looking at her like, yeah, you really don't know where I'm from. Like, you may have been to the same country that he's from, but you really don't know where he's from. You know what I mean? Like, in the essence of, I understood where he was coming from. Like, he's basically saying, you haven't been where I'm from. He grew up in the poor side of Turkey. When she went to Turkey, she was in a 5-star hotel. Well, he thought she was in a 5-star hotel, but she basically told him she was on her father's yacht. I'm like, to me, that's the same thing. Either way, it's luxury. You know what I'm saying? Compared to where he's from. You're not from the streets like he is. So I like that he's humbling her because I think this is what Jocelyn needs. Because when she was with Oscar and stuff and she was talking about all these little luxurious things and stuff, he could relate in a way. Like, he might not have been on some of the luxurious trips that she's been on, but he can relate because his mother, she got some money. She's a doctor. She lives nice. They're well off. So, Oscar could kind of relate. But with Dev, I feel like Dev is the person that can humble Jocelyn. Because I think anybody that comes from wealth, they need people like that in their life. Somebody, if you're not already humble, you need somebody in your life that can humble you, real quick and let you know how it is on the other side. Because obviously a lot of wealthy people can't relate. Like, unless you grew up on that other side and you're self-made. Obviously, Jocelyn is not. But it was funny, though, when they went to the park and stuff like that, and she couldn't find her cell phone, and he actually stole her phone. Because how some people do, they put their phone in their back pocket and stuff, but it'd be more out than in, so it's easy for somebody to just take. That's basically what happened. He basically just boosted her phone. And it was funny how Cameron came up to, like, kind of get in Dev's face about taking her phone and stuff like that. But when he found out that, Dev was living with them and stuff, and then he found out how easy Dev lifted the phone without her noticing. Because even Cameron asked her, he was like, so you didn't feel him pickpocketing you? She said no. He was actually impressed. He was like, yeah, you need to teach me how to do that. It was funny how they were sitting there bonding over that. I'm like, are you serious? Even Jocelyn was irritated. She was like, you know what? Keep the damn phone. I'll buy another one. I said, see, that's that rich people stuff. Because first of all, a lot of people ain't got, how much cell phones cost? Especially iPhones. Them damn things are $1,000. Samsungs, all that stuff is like $500, $600, $700. Like the Samsung, I think the S8, what was it? The S9, I think it is. Whatever the latest one was. It was like $900 or something like that. I said, I wish I would spend $900 that I don't have on a phone. Like, somebody I know got a Samsung, and he's basically on a payment plan. I said, see, I don't want to do that either, because I'm the type of person, when I buy something, I like to buy it outright, because I don't want to be, constantly paying just basically to rent it. I'd rather just own it outright. It just makes more sense to me. So that way, all you got to do is pay for the service. It just makes sense. But when they went to Oscar's Meadow and stuff like that, as harsh as Dev may have sounded when he said, Oscar's dead and, when people die all the time and dead is dead, it might have seemed harsh, but it was a harsh reality. because what he said is so true. Like, people trying to have these seances and all that just to, you know, have these last conversations with the person and call these little psychic hotlines and stuff. You just need to leave the dead alone, because they're not going to reach out to you from beyond the grave. I do believe that when you lose somebody, I do believe that they're around you. I do believe they're watching you. I believe that they're around. You know, I believe in the spiritual world, but there's an old saying, dead people don't talk, because that's true. You're not going to get a response from a dead person. Once they're gone, they're gone. You're not going to get a one last conversation. You're not going to get a one last hug. Like I said, I believe that the deceased is around you, like your family member who may have died. I believe they're around you. You can feel them. But if you're hoping to have a conversation with them, it's not going to happen. You know, like, it's just not. Because Jocelyn thought that it was Oscar who was outside and stuff like that, you know, shaking the bushes and stuff like that. But of course it was Dev, which I already figured. You know, because I remember he mentioned before that he went to Sonny's house and he couldn't get in. So I figured that was him in the backyard. And he basically confirmed that. Like, I know it's hard for Joss because Oscar's death is still fresh for her, but she just needs to figure out a way to move on somehow. But anyway, I love the scene with Sonny and Mike and all them. Sonny basically came up with a new plan because Mike brought up a relative that, you know, a cousin or whatever named Gladys, I guess, who lives in Connecticut or whatever. So she had a son that was basically around the same age as Deb. So basically Sonny is going to try to, you know, pass that kid off as one of his relatives. So that way, you know, when immigration or whoever start coming around poking, you know, asking questions and stuff like that, they got a good cover story. But I do agree with Carly that they should do this the legal way. But, you know, Sonny doesn't want to send him back to Turkey and all that, because he know that if you send him back to his old country, he's going to run. And he doesn't want to do that. So he's just trying to figure out the best way to keep him here and out of harm's way. But I do agree with Carly, though, because she finally kind of had that conversation with Sonny that I was hoping that they would have had, where, you know, they could discuss how long Sonny plans on letting this kid live with them. I mean, I know for right now it's just for the summer, but Carly brought up a good point. Like, they have a lot going on right now. They got Avery, they're dealing with Mike, they're dealing with this new baby, you know, this Shiloh business. Like, it's just a lot on their plate right now. You know what I mean? Like, can they really add another thing to the plate? You know, the baby is coming in like a couple of months. Shoot, they got a baby that's coming in about 3 more months. You know, it's a lot going on with them right now. But I did love the scene with Mike, though. Mike, man, I wish they would show him more, but I guess they're kind of phasing that storyline out, you know, showing him here and there. But it was cool watching him, you know, them show him how to, you know, access the tablet and all his TV shows and stuff. He had Barney Miller up there. He had a lot of good shows up there, old school. Welcome Back, Kotter is probably one of my favorite old school. Welcome Back, Kotter, Good Times, Sanford and Son, that's my favorite. What's Happening, one of my favorite shows. Like, That's My Mama, that's one of my favorite shows from the 70s. All in the Family, All in the Family, Archie Bunker. The way he used to talk to Edith used to piss me off. And how he used to call his son-in-law Meathead. Yeah, that would be funny. Oh, the Jeffersons. You can't forget the Jeffersons. One of my all-time favorites. But yeah, that was a cool scene. I enjoyed it. So Michael met up with this girl named Carol Lockhart. She, I guess, used to be a member of DOD. She's the one who went to jail for, I guess, the drug overdose that happened to Willow's father. And she even said it, like, there was really no need for her to even take the charge because they had really no evidence against Shiloh. But once Michael started putting all the pieces together and letting her know how Shiloh really is, that's when she started realizing how stupid she was in believing in Shiloh. So, of course, Michael and Jason want her to come back to Port Charles to help, you know, nail Shiloh. But at first, she couldn't go. At first, she couldn't go back to Port Charles because she had this ankle monitor on. But, of course, Jason and Michael found a way around that. You know, they cut that sucker off. And as soon as she was getting in the truck, here come that cop. The cop that arrested Jason before in Beecher's Corners, who told him not to come back. I'm like, I was hoping Michael would have came up from behind that cop and knocked him out. That cop, man, he one of them aggravating type cops. Like, I could already see it. You could see the irritation on Jason's face when that cop popped up. I was like, yep, here come little Barney Fife. Here he come. But overall, I definitely enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a cool episode. That judge scene, like I said, that court scene is just, it was too much for me today. But hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about today's episode. I will see y'all all later. I hope you all have a great day. See you all later. Peace.